In a recent public statement, Naim Qassem, the deputy leader of Hezbollah, accused both Israel and the United States of actively supporting rebel forces in Syria, further escalating tensions in the already volatile region. Qassem's comments suggest a deepening of the proxy conflict in Syria, where Hezbollah, along with Iran, has been one of the primary backers of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government. The Hezbollah leader specifically blamed the U.S. for fueling the violence in Damascus, asserting that American involvement is part of a broader strategy to destabilize Syria and sow chaos across the region. Qassem's allegations focus on the U.S. role in providing material support to opposition groups fighting against Assad's regime. He argued that Washington's continued backing of these rebel factions, both financially and militarily, is designed to weaken Syria's central government, destabilize the region, and, by extension, challenge Hezbollah and Iran's growing influence. This accusation is consistent with long-standing claims by Syria and its allies, who have portrayed the U.S. as a key player in efforts to overthrow the Assad regime, despite its official rhetoric of supporting only moderate opposition groups. The Hezbollah leader also turned his attention to Israel, accusing the Jewish state of collaborating with U.S. efforts to destabilize Syria. Qassem highlighted Israel's military actions in the Golan Heights and its support for rebel groups in southern Syria, which have targeted areas near the Israeli border. These accusations are part of a broader narrative where Hezbollah has long portrayed Israel as an enemy trying to weaken both Syria and Lebanon, and particularly Hezbollah's own military capabilities. By connecting Israel to the ongoing conflict in Syria, Qassem aims to portray the fight in Syria as one of national defense for Hezbollah and its allies, as they work to counter what they perceive as a concerted Western and Israeli effort to dismantle the Axis of Resistance, a coalition of Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, and other allied groups. In a direct call to action, Qassem reiterated Hezbollah's unwavering commitment to fight alongside the Syrian military to defend the regime and ensure the survival of the Assad government. He emphasized that the group's military support has been instrumental in several pivotal battles throughout the war, especially in areas bordering Lebanon. Hezbollah's involvement in Syria, particularly in regions such as the Kalamon Mountains, the Golan Heights, and Aleppo, has been critical to turning the tide in favor of the Syrian government. Despite the substantial losses Hezbollah has suffered in terms of both personnel and resources, Qassem made it clear that the group remains fully committed to the Syrian cause. The Hezbollah leader also made a pointed appeal to Arab nations, urging them to distance themselves from Western influence and offer their support to the Syrian government. Qassem called on Arab countries to prioritize the defense of Syria's sovereignty and to resist the temptation to align with the U.S. and its allies, who, according to him, are responsible for exacerbating the conflict. He stressed that the destabilization of Syria posed a threat to the entire region and that the Arab world needed to unite in support of Syria to prevent further chaos and disintegration of state sovereignty. This call to action represents Hezbollah's ongoing efforts to rally regional support for Assad and counterbalance the influence of Western-backed Arab states, such as Saudi Arabia and Qatar, who have supported opposition forces throughout the conflict. Qassem's speech reflects the broader ideological divide in the Middle East, where sectarian and geopolitical rivalries play a central role in shaping alliances and fueling the ongoing conflict in Syria. The battle for influence between Sunni Arab states and Shia Iran, as well as the broader Sunni-Shia divide, has been a central factor in the Syrian civil war. Hezbollah's strong support for Assad, alongside Iran's backing, has ensured that the Syrian regime remains a critical ally in Tehran's broader regional strategy, which seeks to project power across the Middle East through a network of allied militias and governments. In contrast, the U.S. and its allies, including Sunni Arab states like Saudi Arabia, have supported opposition groups in an attempt to counter Iran's influence and weaken Assad's hold on power. The strategic importance of Syria in this regional rivalry cannot be overstated. Syria's geographical position, acting as a corridor between Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon, has made it a critical theater for both Iranian and Israeli interests. As Hezbollah strengthens its position within Syria, its growing military capabilities, particularly its missile arsenal, have raised alarms in Israel. Israel has made it clear that it views Hezbollah's presence in Syria, particularly near the Golan Heights, as a direct threat to its security, prompting Israeli airstrikes aimed at curbing Hezbollah's military buildup in the region.
Qassem's statements also reflect Hezbollah's broader geopolitical ambitions.
The group, originally founded as a resistance movement against Israel, has transformed into a regional actor with a significant military presence in multiple countries, including Syria and Iraq. Its involvement in Syria has strengthened its position as a key player in the Middle East, enabling it to exert influence in both Lebanon and Syria, while also deepening its ties with Iran. This regional network of alliances, which also includes groups like the Popular Mobilization Forces in Iraq, represents a challenge to US and Israeli interests in the region, as they seek to contain Iranian influence and curb the activities of groups like Hezbollah. As the Syrian conflict enters its 11th year, Qassem's remarks highlight the continuing importance of foreign involvement in the war and the role that Hezbollah, Iran, the US, and Israel continue to play in shaping its outcome.
The conflict, which initially began as a popular uprising against Assad's government, has transformed into a multifaceted regional war, with multiple powers vying for influence. With no end in sight, the involvement of Hezbollah and its allies ensures that Syria remains a critical flashpoint in the broader Middle East struggle for dominance between regional powers and global superpowers.
Qassem's statements serve as a reminder of Hezbollah's commitment to Assad's survival, while also signaling a broader ideological and geopolitical battle that transcends the borders of Syria. The implications of these developments could reverberate throughout the Middle East, as regional powers continue to align themselves with opposing factions, fueling an already volatile situation. As Hezbollah's role in Syria evolves, it will continue to be a significant factor in shaping both the future of Syria and the broader Middle East's geopolitical landscape.